This video is sponsored by Surfshark. I couldn't help but wonder, full stop, end of sentence. I couldn't help but wonder, because I'm just so full of wonder. Hello everybody, welcome to Mike's Mike. My name is Mr. Beast's Ender, and today I'm talking about season 2 of Sex and the City. If you're wondering why the video looks square-esque, it's because I, the director, made the directorial decision to present this video in IMAX film ratio 1.43:1. I'm giving you the IMAX experience. Obviously practicing for when I make a real IMAX film, of course. Also partially inspired by my Parisian sister Dame and Dominique, of course. So, Sex and the City Season 2, wow, I loved that. It was actually fantastic. So I'm going to sit here in IMAX ratio and talk about it. As I said in my Season 1 video, these are not full in-depth recaps, but more so structured thoughts, and I'm also making these as I go, as in I don't know what happens beyond what I've seen. So I might say something about someone and then later on they become evil. I don't know. I'm also doing my daily Sex and the City Season 2 thoughts on Instagram right now as we speak. By the time this video goes up, I should be up to episode 9-ish. I highly recommend following me on there for a more in-depth look at each episode. I post a bunch of thoughts plus a standout clip from each. The clips are important because I cannot post half a second of Carrie Bradshaw breathing on youtube.com/MikesMike without HBO demonetizing the video. I feel like season 2 took all the things I liked in season 1 and made them even better. And once again, I'm appreciative of the 25-minute episodes. It feels like the right amount of time to spend on each topic and then we're on to the next one. It's like the equivalent of playing Blitz Royale. Right. 23 crowns, mind you. 23 lost mention. Now, season 2 has a lot of iconic moments that I recognize from the internet. Like, I didn't know that Big is moving to Paris is from the same episode as the Whip screenshot, the same as the McDonald's screenshot. Then in the next episode, it's the Carrie apartment GIF walk. And then 2 episodes after that, she's knocking on the restaurant window. It's all there. I kept doing mini gasps every time I saw them. I'd be like, I know you, I laughed at you once upon a tweet. Rachel Zegler, you're out of a job, sweetie. All these memes and references coming from this season just go to show how bloody iconic it is. Now, something that I thought was interesting in season 2 is that it felt like there was a lot less of a focus on Carrie's column. I mean, yes, she's writing, and what she's writing is conceptually parallel to what's happening in the episode, but it's less, hi, I'm Carrie Bradshaw, and I have a column called Sex and the City, and today I'm writing about XYZ. Like, by this point, that's established. I actually love it so much when Carrie's in a conversation or she's thinking about something, and then it cuts to her in a different outfit in her apartment, typing on her laptop, usually in a ridiculous position, like this. After listening to Miranda talk about being catfished, I couldn't help but wonder, in a world where you can't always trust what's what when you're online, when is the right time to protect yourself? This video is sponsored by Surfshark. Surfshark VPN, or Virtual Private Network, encrypts all of the data sent between your device and the internet, keeping your online identity safe. Big is moving to Paris. Babe, me too. Because with Surfshark, you can change your location to Paris. Surfshark has over 3,200 servers in 100 countries, so if you're ever in the situation where the show you want to watch isn't available in your country, you can use Surfshark to access and unblock content libraries and streaming services from all over the world. Surfshark VPN also secures your personal information and encrypts your online data so you can browse safely. Surfshark's Clean Web feature blocks ads, trackers, malware, and phishing attempts. I suddenly had a thought. Was I stuck in Big's web again? Or was he stuck in mine? And Surfshark doesn't track you or store activity logs of what you do online either. And so I couldn't help but wonder, why won't Mr. Big track me? You can also connect multiple devices on the one account. I've got a laptop specifically for writing, which is actually kind of Carrie coded of me. And then I also have a PC for editing. But I use the one Surfshark account, so in this case, 1 + 1 truly equals 1. Go to surfshark.com/MikesMike. You can click the link in the description or use my code MikesMike at checkout, MIKESMIC, to get 4 extra months of Surfshark VPN. Surfshark offers a 30-day money-back guarantee, so there's no risk for you to try it out. Thank you to Surfshark for sponsoring this video. So then usually at the end of these Carrie writing cutaways, she'll have her laptop and her cigarette and she'll look away troubled in the distance like this. Okay, so the way I structured this video is I'm going to talk about Carrie and Mr. Big together, then the other girls, some of the other friends, and then I'm going to talk specifically about episode 18, and then Vanessa's fashion segment, of course. Sometimes while watching this show, I'll find myself thinking, I can't believe Carrie Bradshaw is not a real person because she feels so human. Like, yes, she's flawed, but at this point, I simply do not understand how people can just flat out say they don't like her. She's basically a mirror to the human condition. So if you don't like her, when she makes bad decisions or does things that we don't want her to do, it doesn't feel like, why would they make her do that? as in bad writing decisions for the character. She's doing things that I think are believable for her to do because she feels so human. Does that make sense? Season 2 is so fun in terms of seeing what absolute mess Carrie is in this time. Episode 4, titled They Shoot Single People, Don't They, is a good example of this. She gets profiled in NY Mag and turns up to the photo shoot looking terrible, assuming there'll be hair and makeup, and then finds out she's on the cover looking chopped with the title Single and Fabulous? ? Such a good episode. That question mark is hostile. Also, her seeing the cover at a magazine stand because she went to the magazine stand to buy more cigarettes because she smoked all of her cigarettes during her workout. Please. Can we quickly discuss the fact that Carrie Bradshaw and I have both been in New York Magazine? Bro, if they put me on the cover and said single and fabulous? I would... There's no telling what I would do. So at the end of season 1, Carrie broke up with Mr. Big. Where does that leave us now? Well, dating isn't exactly going swimmingly for Carrie, let's just say that. Throughout the season, when she, or any of the girls for that matter, goes on a date, it's like, okay, what's going to be wrong with this one now? But with Carrie at the start of season 2, she is the problem a couple of times. In episode 1, she fumbles the new Yankee Joe because she's not over Big and just completely crumbles when she sees him. Charlotte says to Carrie, you broke up with him, remember? And Carrie says, and that's supposed to make me what? Happy? And to me, this is part of what makes Carrie feel like a real person. She's trying to do what she knows is right for her by not being with Big, but it's just not working. In episode 3, she fumbles Ben when she can't seem to find anything wrong with him after dating a bunch of duds in a row. She's like, wait, I need to go look for a problem. As in, literally searching through his belongings with a cigarette in her mouth, looking absolutely insane. In that case, she is the problem. Like, Carrie, girl, please. So, when Carrie ends up calling Big in episode 5, I'm not surprised. She's not over him at all. It's pretty funny that she calls him after going to a funeral, like, oh, speaking of people who might die, maybe I should call Big, #old allegations. So not only did it take her just 5 episodes to get back with Big, but she's hiding it from her friends and actively lying to Miranda about it in episode 6, which is probably not a good sign. She's also afraid to talk to Big about the reasons why she left him in the first place. Another not so great sign. When she tells the girls, they're like, oh my fucking god, not this shit again. More so Samantha and Miranda than Charlotte. Ever the optimist, Charlotte's sort of looking at it like, oh, well, at least he's kind of trying. Carrie really starts to test my patience because when she's back with Big, she really starts to drop the ball with the girls, such as standing up Miranda an hour before they were supposed to meet because Big got some veal. Like, come on. But the thing is, she can see that things aren't working again, but she wants them to work so bad. Like, she wants him to change, which prompts her to ask, can you change a man? Oh my god, also in that particular episode, she asks Big, what's something that I do that you don't like? And he says, I don't like it when you eat oranges in my bed because it makes my sheets sticky. Hold on. What the hell are you doing eating oranges in the bed? I can excuse taking your ex back and pissing everyone off, but I will not excuse eating oranges in the bed. That's disgraceful. It's just unacceptable. So poor Delulu Carrie is celebrating the small wins, right? Big giving her a toothbrush head, finding a picture of her in his drawer. And then, when I think things are going okay, episode 12. Big is moving to Paris. When I found out that this episode was the Big is moving to Paris meme, I was so hyped. Like, that episode is literally history. And this is the same episode that she's at his door with a whip just doing anything. I saw people on Twitter saying that that screenshot is the visual representation of humiliation, which is funny, but that's not really the vibe that I get from that scene. The vibe that I get is a mismatch of energies. He simply does not reciprocate her energy, and that's just that. They are not a match. And in that particular scenario, there's no bad guy. They're just not a match. But then, while packing for a trip to Paris, he tells Carrie that he might later potentially be moving to Paris, and she snaps. I understand why she was acting like that. I saw a tweet that said Carrie was actually just passionate and she romanticized her day-to-day life. I don't think she was cringe, even though I don't necessarily like her. It was just an issue of a lack of reciprocation sometimes. God forbid a girl doesn't let the misfortunes of life break her spirit. I think in those scenes, those screenshots are from in episode 12, she overestimated her importance in Big's life, but it's because she was trying so hard to make it work. Guys, give my sister Carrie a break. Carrie, get behind me. She's human. Well, she's not, but she is. That being said, after Big is moving to Paris Gate, she started pissing me off with how much she kept talking about it to her friends. And Miranda suggests that she go see a therapist, and Carrie's response is, I don't think therapy is real. Shut up. She says something like, I get why you would need therapy, but I don't. Like, wow. Had I crossed the line from pleasantly neurotic into annoyingly troubled? Yeah, maybe a little bit. We really need to talk about the knocking on the window. That was so... Like, you can see the other people in the restaurant being like, who is this fucking lady, bro? It's so funny. Why are you knocking on the glass like you're at a fucking zoo? Okay, another thing about Carrie in season 2 is that she's serving extreme body tea always, especially in diabolical situations. It's like that one JLo tweet that was like, even if you don't like her, you'll never see her looking like shit. Here are some examples of Carrie serving no matter what's happening in her life. Episode 8, Episode 10, Episode 13, Episode 15, Body Tea Olympics gold medal, Episode 16, Episode 17, Episode 18. Bro had me flabbergasted this season repeatedly. When Carrie runs into him in episode 1 and he says, I saw your picture in the paper, you never looked better. Oh, I see. So you're sick and twisted. Okay, got it. Oh, okay, cool. That's what it is. My question with Mr. Big is he intentionally doing this shit? Or is his care factor so low that he's oblivious to how his actions would impact Carrie? Like, does he even care about her at all? Let's build on that. Episode 2, Carrie invites Big to her birthday drinks and he says, happy birthday, baby. Baby? Like, why would you say that? Do you want to get back with her? Because if you do, that's one thing. But if you're just stringing her along nonchalantly, that's another thing. There's got to be intention behind that because she dumped him and here he comes with the happy birthday baby. Surely he knows that he's got her around his finger. Bro. Yada yada yada, so they end up back together. Next thing, he hardly ever directly answers a question. Oh my god. That would piss me off. The result of him not answering questions is Carrie filling in the blanks, which either results in her completely misreading the situation or them ending up in a place they shouldn't even be in the first place. For example, in episode 6, Carrie says to Mr. Big, so does this mean we're seeing each other again officially? And he says, if you say so, don't piss me off. I'm telling it to you straight. Old man, don't piss me off. So then again, it's like, are you playing with her? Do you just not care enough to care? Or do you care for her, but this is your whole routine? Ugh, then episode 7 was a triple piss off. Carrie's invited to a friend's wedding and is asked to do a poem. Big is also invited. Carrie asks him to sign the card and he says, why would I sign the card? They're your friends. To me, that sounds like bro does not want to be associated with her. Also, the fact that we still don't know his name is so funny. Like, what were they writing on the card? Dear Carrie and Mr. Big. Anyway, during reception proceedings, Big's phone rings, which A, is rude, and B, happens during Carrie's poem, and he gets up and takes the call. I could not believe it. That man does not care about her. Oh my god, I felt so bad for her, like, stand up. Then later on, he tries to sneak out of the wedding and Carrie has to convince him to stay. Something's off. He's just rotted up here. Then in episode 9, they're still together. And he's checking out other women. Oh, okay, cool. Episode 12, Big is moving to Paris Gate, just flabbergastings left, right, and center. He has to know what he's doing. When Carrie says, oh, I'll come to Paris too, he says, I don't want you to uproot your life and expect anything. The first part of that sentence, I'm kind of like, okay, I can sort of see where you're coming from here. But then the expect anything is crazy work. Big is moving to Paris? No, he's not anymore. Big is moving to prison. In episode 17, the girls are in the Hamptons. Welcome back, the concept of the jitney. I'm familiar with your work in Gossip Girl. While in the Hamptons, they're at a party and Carrie runs into Mr. Big and his 26-year-old girlfriend. I think in another episode, Carrie mentions that he's 43 or something. But to me, when I look at him, I get 50 plus. So in my head, 50-year-old Mr. Big is dating a 26-year-old. And for what? And when Carrie confronts him and he says, oh, I meant to call you. Did you though? You knew there'd be a chance that you'd run into her in the city after you got back from Paris. You're both around. If you wanted to call her and talk to her, you would have. Then that brings me to episode 18. Ugh, more on that later. Let's return to talking about a real person and not some sort of 43-year-old nonchalant demon. Miranda, Charlotte, and Samantha have their storylines much more fleshed out in this season compared to season 1. Like Miranda buys a new apartment in episode 5 and nearly dies in it. I would forever be the dead girl who watched bad TV. Guys, I'm rooting for Miranda. When she got the apartment, everyone's like, whoa, excuse me, single lady, you're just getting this for yourself? Where's your man? She should have been able to punch him in the face. Just stand up in the room and punch them in the face. A few episodes later, she says, but when a single woman has money, it's a problem you have to deal with. And I think that's an overarching theme for her here. Her success seems to be a repeat problem for people, and she should be able to punch them all in the face. Miranda's got an, interesting haircut this season. Sometimes it's like, what are we doing? What are we doing? And then suddenly it'll be slick backed with a cowl and I'll see the vision, like in episode 7. The hair in episode 1, when she's sitting in the restaurant serving Seed of Chucky, just stressing me out. Mind you, she had some great fashion moments, which we'll talk about. Like that same episode, she was wearing a Fendi jacket to the baseball. She can do it all. One of the things that I complained about in season 1 was that no one besides Carrie had a relationship that spanned over multiple episodes. So then, in episode 8 of season 2, we meet Steve. Hey, Steve. Oh my God, Steve, stop. I like Steve and Miranda, shoot me. At the end of that episode, when Miranda leaves the club they're at called Denial, and she runs in the rain to catch up to Steve, and voiceover Carrie says, and just like that, Miranda left Denial. Whoa, you guys, oh my God. In episode 9, when he calls her in the middle of the night to show her the rare blue moon, that corny shit, it would work on me. So then Miranda and Steve start seeing each other. Great. There are some potential issues. First, scheduling. Miranda works early, Steve works late. He's a bartender. I've sort of been in that situation as the Steve because I prefer to work late at night rather than in the morning. And yes, audience, it did cause issues and it stressed me out a lot. Next thing, as we know, Miranda has money. Steve doesn't have as much money, but Miranda doesn't care about that. He loves her, she loves him, yay. Except it becomes an issue when Steve can't afford a suit but is too proud to let Miranda pay for it and everything falls apart. Both of you need to work it out. You've got too much going for you, sort it out. After temporary Steve endings, it is just crisis after crisis for Miranda in the dating sphere. Bad dates, thinking her hot neighbor was flirting with her, but he was just cruising the guy that lives below her. Also wanted to mention that in episode 17, when Miranda consoles Carrie on the beach after big 26-year-old girlfriend gate, I just thought, wow, she's such a good friend. Miranda is loved. So Samantha was also in a multi-episode thing with a guy. The drama with hers was that he was, let's say, dimensionally challenged. She also goes out with a guy that's much older than her. She's just doing anything and I respect it. She kind of ended Carrie in episode 16 when she says, you know, for a sex columnist, you have a very limited view of sexuality. And when I think about that further, would it make sense for Samantha to be the one writing the Sex and the City column? She's truly just doing anything in that department and knows everything there is to know as a result. Every time she's on screen, it's like, yay, my show's on. She's always in a situation, but they're more fun than Carrie's ones. Like in episode 5, her social life was saved by Leonardo DiCaprio, which was apparently actually supposed to be JFK Jr., but then he, Samantha has some absolute banger quotes this season. Episode 13, it's slim pickings out there. You can't swing a Fendi purse without knocking over 5 losers. Where did all the great guys go? In episode 17, I'd risk a few precancerous freckles for a summer romance. In episode 11, Carrie says, as long as you've got a plan. And Samantha says, not only a plan, I have a dress. Speaking of dresses, I think Samantha wins in the fashion department this season. I'll show some later, but she'll pop on screen in some amazing outfit in the middle of a random episode and I'll be reacting like Alyssa Edwards in the workroom. I also love it when Samantha says, no. I was going to say that maybe in season 3, it would be good for Samantha to have a recurring boyfriend, but the more I think about it, I don't think she needs one. No notes, just keep doing what you're doing, babe. Oh, my good sister Charlotte. Now, she's a positive thinker. She's going to put a positive spin on a situation, and I love her for that. Sometimes the things she says come across a bit too airy-fairy dreamland or too como se dice conservative, but the thing is, she'll get pulled up on it. Like in episode 8, Miranda says, I swear, if you Pollyanna out on me today, I'm going to have to hit you with this rice pudding. Some thoughts about Charlotte this season. She likes her rules. In episode 1, she says, it takes half the total time you went out with someone to get over them. I remember my friend Vanessa told me that last year, and I was like, wow, that's so interesting. And now I'm like, oh, okay, so you got that from Charlotte. In episode 5, she picks up a man at a cemetery. In episode 12, she gets free shoes off a salesman with a foot fetish. Mind you, that was during Big is moving to Paris Gate. Like, can we focus on one thing at a time, please? I also liked when Carrie said, excuse me, Miss Charlotte, what is happening south of your ankles? In episode 11, Charlotte is seeing gay straight man Stefan. The gay straight man was a new strain of heterosexual males spawned in Manhattan as a result of overexposure to fashion, exotic cuisine, musical theatre and antique furniture. That is so funny. Are you kidding? Also, when Charlotte brings Carrie and Carrie's gay friend Stanford to meet Stefan to work out if he's gay, that is so funny. So then it turns out Stefan isn't gay and Charlotte sees him for a bit, but then decides it's not going to work when he freaks out over a mouse in the kitchen. Charlotte, no! Stefan was a catch! when they're hooking up and he's playing Cher and Charlotte's like, oh, Cher. And he says, I love her. She's such a survivor. Exactly. In episode 15, we have our first proper intragroup fight between Charlotte and Samantha. Miranda and Carrie argued a little bit in episode 1, but that was different. Samantha sleeps with Charlotte's brother and Charlotte says some nasty things to Samantha. But then it turns out Samantha sleeping with her brother actually helped him out big time. So there you go. There are notably less random friends this time, but here are some notable mentions for other friends and cameos. In episode 2, we meet Susan Sharon and her nasty, verbally abusive husband. Just ugh. And the consensus among the women being, you just don't tell someone to leave their husband. Oh, it's giving sign of the times. Drop him. So then going from that outdated yikesness, we then have some advanced yasness with the power lesbians in episode 6. They're so important to me. I wish Charlotte stayed friends with them. In episode 4, we have Bradley Cooper as single straight smoker. In the same episode, we have a Mr. Schuster cameo. It's just really scary times. Stanford is back for a few episodes, notably to do Stefan's gay assessment in episode 11. Skipper also makes a small return in episode 14. And I'm once again wondering how Carrie and Skipper are even friends. Anyway, he says something about being stuck looking for women who just want jerks. And then boom, cut to Miranda, which I thought was funny. But my favorite cameo this season is Justin Theroux as Vaughn Weisel. Yes, that's right. Justin Theroux, who was in season 1, is back with a shaved head in episode 15 of season 2 as a completely different person. And to be honest, if I wasn't so tapped into the Theroux-niverse, I don't think I would have noticed it was him, because he looks and acts completely different, which... that's acting. Hey, that's showbiz. Episode 18 gets a special segment in this video because it is boom after boom. It's basically boomchella. First of all, great title, X and the City. They had one use of that throughout the show, and I feel like they did not take the decision of where to put it lightly. At the start of the episode, Carrie says, life is all about making choices. Some choices, like who you marry, are big, while others are even bigger. Some of the choices, like who you marry, are big. If this was a rom-com, that would be foreshadowing that she's going to marry Big. So of course my well-trained ears perked up. But in the bigger verse, he's just debuted his 26-year-old girlfriend Natasha, and Carrie's a mess. This disaster is prompting some great thinking from Carrie because she says, if you love someone and you break up, where does the love go? No, because where does the love go? Where did they go? Carrie in Delulu mode is like, why don't I just try and be friends with Big? So they go for lunch as friends. Big looks nervous. What's wrong with bro? Carrie's like, since we're friends, tell me about the girl. Bad decision. Big tells Carrie that he's engaged. I was literally the Squidward smashing glass meme. Mr. Non-committal, Mr. I don't want you to uproot your life and expect anything is engaged. He's sick. He's unwell. He's not an ethical person. Carrie is understandably heartbroken. How many times has she tried to make it work with this flop? I mean, that's also her fault for trying over and over again when it clearly wasn't working, but I still feel bad for her. Meanwhile, Steve is back. This feels like great news for me personally. Does this mean that Miranda and Steve are potentially endgame? An interesting prospect for sure. Miranda avoids Steve on the street, and then later that day he comes to her apartment and says, bro, why did you run from me? I held your head while you were sleeping. Oh my God. See, that's why I'm Steve Nation, because could you ever imagine Big Ass saying something like that to Carrie? Absolutely not. Okay, so then what happens at the end of the episode, I'm still on the fence about. Big's just had his engagement party, which he invited Carrie to, which is weird, but he's talking to Carrie on the street and she's asking loaded questions like, why wasn't it me? And quoting movies and touching his face, and he says, I don't get it. To which she says, and you never did, and walks off. I'm on the fence because did she pull that off? Or was that cringe? I don't know.
I don't get it.
And you never did.
Like, what do we think about that? My super cool and stylish friend Vanessa and I have collated some of our favorite looks from this season, so let's get into that.
Hey everyone, it's Vanessa here. I just finished up my interview at Vogue for the editor-in-chief role. Let's get into it. Let's start off strong with a group shot of the girls at the baseball game. Episode 1, starting off strong, Miranda in the Fendi coat. Carrie, she's wearing her trusty Pierre Cardin fur coat. Love, 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 love. She wears it all through season 1 and all through season 2. Samantha in the leopard coat and her Versace sunglasses. Charlotte in the Marnie purple fur. Love. Episode 5, Carrie's wearing a tailored red Alaya jacket with Prada capris and a croc clutch, a throwback to season 1. Episode 10, she's wearing a Jean Paul Gaultier graphic wrap dress. Episode 12, she's wearing the iconic and famous like McDonald's French fries red dress by Lance and beret. We all know where we were. The same episode, the like whip and the top hat, leather halter and the midi skirt by Jean Paul Gaultier with a lock and key necklace that she wears throughout the season as well. Episode 15, this is an iconic look. She's wearing this mini slate dress, aviators and her vintage Gucci bag, a repeat staple. Episode 17, the girls on Pinterest love this one, the cowboy hat moment. Episode 18, the white slinky Dior dress paired with her little Fendi bag and her little mules, clear vintage mules. Episode 10, Carrie's blue top Dolce & Gabbana. Episode 18, Carrie's red dress. She's wearing the pink sequin Fendi baguette, also worn in episode with the pink dress with Big at the restaurant. Episode 16, Carrie's blue dress by Lens. Fun mention, Carrie in the Cookie Monster pajamas. Like, okay, we get it. You can fight. She's probably did her makeup sitting on the floor in her like wardrobe mirror as well that night. Her gay toe socks, her Pride Month toe socks. The Judas Lever Swan clutch. Now, Carrie was acting so appalled by that, but if the girls are up to date with and just like that, Carrie wears the J.W. Anderson pigeon clutch. Like, I feel like the Judas Lever clutch wasn't even bad. That's something that she would wear. Starlet, her key looks this season. Episode 1, obviously, purple fur Marnie coat. Episode 2, when she's with Carrie and the Alaya jacket, she's wearing a Burberry trench, jeans, and loafers. Episode 12, she's in a full Oscar de la Renta look. She's serving really good athleisure as well in season 2, which is a far cry from And Just Like That Charlotte. Like, I don't know what is going on with her athleisure and Just Like That. Samantha, episode 14, the lingerie set. Episode 17, the Alexander McQueen cream blazer with like a lacy sort of back. Episode 17, she's wearing a sheer blue, like turquoisey sarong tied at the front, flowy white top, white bathers underneath, body tee. Episode 18, she has 2 iconic looks, the red dress, the red Matrix dress.
It's giving Matrix woman in the red dress.
She's also wearing, like when she's walking with Carrie, she's wearing leopard top and Celine leopard skirt. Loved that look as well. Miranda, I just have to say, Miranda's wardrobe this season definitely evolved from all suits to more of her off-duty looks. So we get like lots of casual, sporty and bold looks too. Episode 1, puffer, overalls and cap. This has always been on my mood board. Like, I love this look. Episode 12, she has the bright orange tee and pink maxi skirt by Vivian Tam. Vivian Tam is worn a lot throughout season 2. There's another Vivian Tam piece on Carrie in episode 13 when she's with Stanford. Episode 12, she wears a Custo Barcelona top. Another note, Carrie wears this Playboy necklace by White Trash Charms throughout the whole season, along with her like Carrie nameplate necklace. So that's something to look out for.
So those are some of my thoughts on season 2 of Sex and the City in IMAX ratio 1.43, no less. I'm so excited to be tapping into season 3, so I'll probably jump back with that in maybe August. We'll see. I am also working on the next Gossip Girl video. So that's taking up some of my time. Thank you all for watching. Of course, if you enjoyed it, feel free to leave me a like, leave me a comment with your thoughts. Penny for your thoughts. Please talk about Big is moving to Paris. I need to absorb some more of that content. I've got those episode summaries and clips on my Instagram, also in a highlight, so you can check them out after. That Surfshark link is in the description for that gorgeous, gorgeous deal. Thanks again to Surfshark for sponsoring this video. And just like that, arrivederci.